Okay, so I thought it about time I do a painting guide for one of my 40k armies. In this case, my Tyranids, which are, I guess, they're my main army. I call them Hive Fleet Nuckelavee because the colour scheme is inspired by the Creatures of Grimm from Rooster Teeth's web series RWBY. Now, I'll be painting this Tyranid warrior for this tutorial, along with the rest of its unit. But before I do, give an idea of the colour scheme, show you this Tyranid Prime, which is the most recent model I actually finished for the army. Anyway, the colours you'll need for this are, well, you'll need to undercoat the models black. I use Army Painter Matte Black, but any black will do. That's the advantage of this colour scheme. With two exceptions really, you can use, well, four exceptions really. You can use any particular colours because the colours are pretty generic. But for this I'll be using Abaddon Black from Citadel. Well, I'll be using all Citadel paints, but beyond the thing. Mechanica Standard Grey. Ulthuan Grey. White Scar. Ishan Grey. Corn Red. Wazdaka Red. Ushabti Bone. Seraphim Sepia, I'm never sure how it's pronounced. Nuln Oil. Fire Dragon Bright. Iriel Yellow. And Nurgle's Rot. And Blood for the Blood God. I won't be showing how I do the bases on my Tyranids in this video. I'll probably leave them for that for another video. Anyway, first thing you want to do is get the Mechanica Standard Grey, which you'll be using to paint the carapaces. As with any Wargames tutorial, to thin it down and don't go too heavy with the paint, so you don't cover any important details. But you don't have to be too careful at this stage. You can always neaten up with your preferred black paint. And you'll want to get the like I said, you want to get the carapace and any small claws on these models. Okay, I'll finish doing this step and then bring you back for the next one. Okay, as you can see, I have bring this up a bit. I've done the carapaces and claws, as well as cleaning them up a bit with some Abaddon Black. Now, for the next step, you're going to need, I use Ulthuan Grey, and basically just have to go back over the carapace the same way. Now, this will more than likely require at least 2 coats, because Ulthuan Grey is quite a thin layer paint. go over it all until you get a fairly solid colour, and then clean back up with any bits that you messed up with Abaddon black or your choice of black. Okay, so now that the white ultimate grey is done, the next is a semi-optional step, but I like to do it, and you can basically do this to the extent you like, which is to highlight the carapace with white scar. Now, I tend to, at the very least, focus on bits like the ridges on the top of the head, but you can highlight it to the extent that you feel is right. Okay. Now that the highlighting is done, the next step is to go over any biomorphs and flesh on the model, things such as tongues, the almost brain-looking bit on the adrenal glands, weapon claws and the like, with corn red. I'm going to start with the gun here, being as careful as possible not to catch too much of the carapace or claws while I do this. Okay, once you've done the corn red, the next thing will be to highlight some bits of the black with Ishin grey, to just give them a bit more definition. This is another optional step though, as I only tend to do this on things of this size or larger typically. So things like top of the tail, the ribcage looking bits on the chest. Just be careful with it not to apply too much and turn it from grey to black. Sorry, from black to grey, because you still want it to look black. Once you've done the Ishin grey, your next step is quite a short one, but you need to go over the teeth and any similar parts with Ushabti bone, trying to be as careful as possible to only get the teeth. Don't know if it can really show up that well on the camera, but yeah. I think those are the only teeth on this one. Which leads on to the next step, which is to highlight your hard biomorphs. So things like the scything talons, the name there for a second, with Wazdaka red. quite a simple run. Your load up your brush. Well, not really load up your brush, but get some on your brush and then just run along the hard edges. Also at this point it is worth maybe highlighting some of the more flesh-like bits, and also you need to pick out any vents and joints on the model, such as the elbow joints. Okay. Okay, once the highlighting is done, you're still going to need Wazdaka Red. But I felt this next step needed its own segment of the video. Now, just go grab one of my finished models. Also, I can show this. One of the most distinctive parts of my army are, what's its focus is? The red markings on the carapaces is of all of the creatures, and on their heads of synapse creatures. Now, you can do really, as long as it's red and you can really do whatever design you like. Although drawing a picture might not be the best option. I like to keep the same patterns for the same types of creature. So, like, I'm going to copy the pattern off my Tyranid Prime onto the back of this Tyranid Warrior. You don't have to be perfectly neat, but try and keep your brush as straight as possible and as smooth as possible. Okay, now I'm not going to imitate the design. Fine, not perfectly at least. And just try and get a solid red like pattern without going too thick and gloopy. And because these Tyranid warriors are synapse creatures, I will also be doing a pattern on the head. Okay. Once the design is done, you'll need Nord oil, which you'll use to do a recess shade on the carapace, as well as an all over shade on the claws and weapons and guns. Sorry, not the claws, on the weapon biomorphs. So starting with the small brush, I'll do the recess shade on the back. Carefully push the little shade paint into the recesses. Try not to go too far down the rest of the carapace. Once the weapon biomorphs are shaded with Nuln Oil, you'll want to get Seraphim Sepia, which you use to shade the face of the model, as well and tongue, well, any flesh-like bits on the model, such as the face, and any of what I call the soft biomorphs, things like adrenal glands. Okay. Now, once the shades on your model are dry, comes a step that I can't really get the right angle to film, or pair steps, because you'll be putting Fire Dragon Bright on as the eyes on the model. I think that's both the eyes on the face, any eyes on the guns. There's even a small eye on the adrenal glands. After which you'll put, just like if you were doing a normal eye with the pupil, you'll be putting Aerial yellow. Well, I say just like. On a normal die, you'd be putting black, but instead of black for a pupil, put aerial yellow. If you can. Right, I'll do that and then bring you back. Once you've done the eye, the next step is to get blood for the blood god, and well, this is an optional one, this is what I do, and I tend to put some of it on the claw, on the siding talons, like creating a, like it's slashed into something effect. And for most models, I typically put some around the mouth as well, like it's bitten into something. After that, and the final step, if you've got an adrenal gland on the model, or a model with like a poison mouth, put some Nurgle's Rot on or around. I also typically put it into the barrels of Tyranid firearms. On the adrenal gland, and then on the end of the Death Spitter. And that's it. All you have to do after this is base the model how you like. I've been using a swamp base that I may do a tutorial for in future. And then if you do this, which I do, spraying it with a varnish. In my case I typically use Army Painter satin varnish. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. If anyone does do this tutorial, follow this tutorial, I'd appreciate it if you tag me on Twitter at Braincell with it. Right. Goodbye.